better.
Yeah,
please introduce yourself. A short question, no speech.
I'll just take 2-3 questions. Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
We consider you both as Adarsh MPs, the model MPs for both your parties. So we inspire you a lot as a member of parliament. But I consider in the recent few years, parliament has becoming a rubber stamp institution. I'm sorry to tell that. So it is just becoming a procedural something. So there is some lack of responsibility among member of parliaments. So what we can do next about this? There has been a lot of issues. I think I don't need to explain.
I got the question.
So how we can make it more functioning rather than a rubber stamp institution?
No, it's a very good question, and thank you for asking. So I just want to make one suggestion rather than go on about it, which is if we can have established individual voting records amongst all MPs. You know, Dr. Tharoor brought in a very brave legislation on, what was it on, Doc? On same-sex marriage, right? No. Yeah, on legalization. And I remember that I wanted to vote for him. And I met him in the lobby and I said, you know, Doc, I want to vote with you on this. And I said to my whip, the chief whip or whatever, that I would like to vote for him because, you know, who you love is your business at the end of the day. It's not the end of the world, and we're in 2000 and almost in 2020 now. And I asked my chief whip, and he said that, well, you know what the rules are. So the thing is that this voting by whip should be done on important issues, but on every issue, I'm not so sure. So yeah, that's one way. Yes.
The second thing that I did want to comment about was in his answer to the young man's question about the parliament becoming a rubber stamp. And I should say that it's one very good illustration of the extent to which the road to hell is sometimes paved with good intentions. I'm sure Farooq Sahab will remember that the anti-defection law was passed by his good friend Rajiv Gandhi at a time when Ayaram Gayaram politics was rife, and people were constantly crossing the aisle in quest of ministerial office. Those were the days which confirmed me in my active dislike for the British parliamentary system, which I still consider a perversity only the British could have devised. To elect a legislature in order to form an executive flies in the face of the entire basic concept of separation of powers. But it's actually been made worse by the fact that the anti-defection law, coming in to deal with the fact that people were hopping sides in order to become ministers or become part of power, that created a situation in which now it's impossible to hop sides, but it's also impossible as a result to defy your party whip. Because if you defy your party whip, you will actually not just lose your place in the party, you can, under that law, be expelled from parliament. Now, nobody who's gone to the considerable trouble and expense of getting elected to parliament is going to be wanting to be expelled on an issue of principle. And so many of them simply bite their tongue and dutifully follow a party line they don't agree with, which is why it's become so much worse as a rubber stamp than in the old days when, for example, in Jawaharlal Nehru's time, it was entirely considered appropriate for Congress party MPs to challenge the Congress party Prime Minister. His own son-in-law, Feroz Gandhi, for whom Varun is named, Feroz Gandhi not only attacked Nehru's government repeatedly, but actually brought about the resignation of a finance minister from the state, T.T. Krishnamachari. And he did so on a life insurance scandal as a member of the backbenches of the ruling party in Parliament. That is now literally impossible under the current system post the anti-defection law. And that too there's something wrong with. I've written an entire essay on this theme with other points as well, called The Crisis of Representation, in Open magazine. So those of you, especially the young man who asked the question, who'd like to see my views in greater detail on the subject, you can go to openthemag.com with my name and the title, The Crisis of Representation, and you will understand the challenge we're facing. We've come a long way from the famous speech by Burke to the electors of Bristol in 1776, when he talked about the argument that once you've elected me because you trust my judgment. Thereafter, I'm not obliged to follow your wishes or the wishes of any party that you like. I am there because I represent you, and I have the right to exercise my own judgment on every issue in Parliament, and if you don't like it, vote me out the next time. And that classic formula is simply impossible to articulate in the Indian reality. So 2 comments on Varun's very interesting and provocative observation.